Welcome to Morocco. In a land of contrasts. In the narrow alleyways, spices, voices, and centuries-old traditions blend together. Morocco is not a place you visit, it is a place you experience. Join us on a journey through the kingdom of the setting sun. With 37 million inhabitants, Morocco is one of the more populous countries in North Africa. While many people here speak French, some even Spanish and English, the official languages are Arabic and Tamazight, the Berber language. The Berbers are the indigenous people of North Africa, who lived here long before Arab influences reached the region. Particularly interesting is the contrast between city and countryside. While cities appear modern and dynamic, life in rural areas is still often shaped by tradition. Morocco's cultural diversity arises from the interplay of several influences that have blended over the centuries. At its core are the Berbers as the original population and the added Arab influences, which have shaped language, religion, and many traditions. But European influences, primarily from France and Spain, are also reflected to this day in architecture, language, and everyday culture. In cities like Tangier or Casablanca, this mix becomes especially visible. Geography also plays a major role. Coastal regions, desert, and mountains have given rise to very different ways of life. Entire cities built from clay, the world's oldest university, and several royal cities, all waiting to be discovered. One of these royal cities is Marrakesh, the historic heart of the country. Here in the southwest rises the cultural heart of Morocco, which has developed into an important political and economic center. At the center of the city lies the Jemaa El Fna, a large central square that plays an important role in public life both during the day and in the evening. During the day, the square is used by merchants, musicians, and traditional performers. In the evening, it transforms into a large food market, where numerous street kitchens offer local dishes. Among the most well-known dishes are tagine and couscous, prepared in many variations. From here, countless paths lead into the souks of Marrakesh, a vast network of narrow alleyways and markets. The souks are organized by craft sector, for example for leather, metal, textiles, or spices. Many products are still made on site, giving the markets an insight into traditional craftsmanship. Trading and bargaining are a fixed part of everyday life in these areas. Besides the lively markets, Marrakesh also has places focused more on design and tranquility. The Jardin Majorelle is a botanical garden with exotic plants, and clearly structured pathways. This green oasis was created in the 20th century and is today one of the most visited spots in the city. A significant example of historic architecture is the Bahia Palace, a large palace complex from the 19th century. The compound consists of several courtyards, gardens, and rooms adorned with mosaics, woodwork, and decorative elements. Another important building is the Ben Youssef Madrasa, a former Quranic school. It displays typical features of Islamic architecture, including geometric patterns, calligraphy, and a central courtyard. Above the city rises the Koutoubia Mosque, arguably Marrakesh's most famous landmark. Its minaret is visible from many points in the city and has served as a point of orientation for centuries. The mosque itself is one of the most important religious buildings in the country. Another historic site is the Saadian tombs, which remained hidden for a long time and were only rediscovered in the 20th century. The complex shows elaborately designed tombs with fine ornamentation and offers a glimpse into another era of the city's history. But Marrakesh is not the only royal city here. In the north lie three more fascinating and historically significant cities of North Africa. Fez is one of Morocco's oldest and most important cities, and feels in many parts like a living museum. The Medina of Fez, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is one of the largest intact old towns in the world. Narrow alleyways, small courtyards and winding paths define the scene. A place that has barely changed and where getting your bearings quickly becomes a challenge. At the heart of this historic structure lies the Al-Qarawiyyin University, often referred to as the oldest continuously operating university in the world. It stands as a symbol of the city's long tradition of education and scholarship. A particularly deep insight into the city's traditions is offered by the Chouara tanneries. They are among the oldest and most impressive craft sites in Morocco. In the heart of the old city of Fez, numerous stone vats stand in rows, filled with natural dyes, lime and pigeon droppings, a traditional method that has remained virtually unchanged since the Middle Ages. From the surrounding terraces, visitors look down onto a colorful mosaic of ochre, yellow and brown tones, while workers process the animal hides by hand. The third royal city is Rabat, Morocco's capital. It is located on the Atlantic coast and forms the political center. Compared to other large cities in the country, Rabat feels more structured and modern, yet also quieter. Despite this modern development, Rabat has a historic core. The Old City, also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, displays typical elements of Moroccan architecture with white houses, narrow alleyways, and traditional markets. A central landmark is the Hassan Tower, an unfinished minaret from the 12th century. Right next to it stands the mausoleum of Muhammad V, one of the most important religious buildings in the country. Rabat strikes a balance between past and present, one of the few capitals that is shaped more by culture than by tourism. Meknès completes the ensemble of royal cities. It also belongs to the 4 royal cities of Morocco, but feels decidedly quieter. Its most famous structure is the monumental Bab Mansour Gate, one of the most impressive city gates in the country. Its decorations, mosaics, and proportions reflect the ambition to make Meknès a representative capital. This royal city is also interesting because of its proximity to Volubilis, one of Morocco's most significant archaeological sites. The ruins date from the time of the Roman Empire and show how far its influence reached into North Africa. The UNESCO World Heritage Site extends over a large area and includes the remains of houses, temples, triumphal arches, and streets. Particularly striking are the well-preserved mosaics still visible in many former residential buildings. They depict scenes from everyday life, mythological motifs, and geometric patterns. In contrast to Morocco's lively cities, Volubilis feels calm and almost timeless. The ruins speak of a different era and add another historical layer to Morocco's story, one that reaches far beyond Islamic history. Among all the cities in northern Morocco, one stands out in particular: Chefchaouen, the blue pearl of Morocco. Nestled in the foothills of the Rif Mountains, it is one of the most visually striking places anywhere. The city is known above all for one thing: its blue Medina. A dense network of alleyways, staircases, and small squares, whose houses are painted in various shades of blue. This uniform color palette gives the city a special calm and makes it truly unique in the world. The origins of the blue color are explained in different ways. It is often associated with religious meanings or practical reasons such as cooling and insect repellent. Regardless, it is today the defining characteristic of the city. Depending on the light, the shades shift, from pale blue to deep, almost violet hues. Chefchaouen is not only a visual highlight, but also a place that feels slower. Its location in the mountains provides a more moderate climate and a relaxed atmosphere. From various points in the city, views open up over the surrounding hills and the landscape of the Rif Mountains. Altogether, Chefchaouen forms a perfect contrast to the imposing royal cities. The blue old town is not just an aesthetic feature, it shapes the entire experience and ensures an unforgettable stay. In southern Morocco, the landscape changes fundamentally. Cities and mountains give way to an open, almost boundless expanse. The Sahara does not begin abruptly. It develops gradually, from arid plains to ever larger expanses of sand. Merzouga is a small village on the edge of the Sahara and is considered one of the most important starting points for desert experiences in Morocco. The settlement lies directly at the first large sand dunes, making the transition from solid terrain to desert particularly striking. Many tours set off from here into the surrounding dune fields. Camel rides, off-road excursions, and overnight stays in desert camps are among the typical activities. Especially at sunrise and sunset, the landscape changes dramatically as the light bathes the dunes in different hues. The Erg Chebi is one of Morocco's most famous dune fields and lies directly near Merzouga. Here, the sand dunes rise up to 150 meters high and form a classic desert landscape as seen in pictures. The shape of the dunes constantly changes with the wind, creating ever new lines and structures. Depending on the time of day, the colors of the sand shift from pale yellow to deep orange. The Erg Chigaga lies further to the southwest and is considerably harder to reach than the Erg Chebi. The route there passes through long stretches of barren landscapes, often only accessible by off-road vehicles. It is precisely this remoteness that makes the difference. The dune fields are larger, less visited, and feel more pristine. Infrastructure is barely present, which heightens the sense of isolation. The Agathay Desert lies just about an hour from Marrakesh and differs greatly from the sandy deserts of the Sahara. Instead of tall dunes, rocky plains and gentle hills define the landscape. The region is often called a stone desert and feels more accessible due to its proximity to the city. Many visitors use Agafay as an alternative to the Sahara, as it is more quickly reachable. Despite its smaller size, the landscape impressively shows how diverse deserts in Morocco can be. Along the Atlantic coast in the north, numerous places line up, each showing its own face of the kingdom of the setting sun. Starting with Morocco's largest city and economic center, Casablanca. In contrast to the historic royal cities, Casablanca feels significantly more modern, more structured, and more strongly shaped by international influence. Wide boulevards, modern buildings, and a dynamic atmosphere define the cityscape and reveal a different side of Morocco. Despite this modern development, Casablanca also has significant cultural and architectural landmarks. The most famous structure is the Hassan II Mosque, one of the largest and most beautiful mosques in the world. It stands directly on the coast, partly built over the sea, and is one of the most impressive religious buildings in the country. Large interior spaces, elaborate decorations, and precise craftsmanship define its appearance. The location on the Atlantic adds to the impact of the structure, as waves crash directly against its walls. Away from the mosque, Casablanca presents itself as a vibrant metropolis, offering yet another contrast to the rest of Morocco. Less history, more development. At the same time, cultural elements and religious buildings remain a fixed part of the cityscape. Traveling further south along the Atlantic coast, you arrive in Essaouira. The city is known for its art scene. Galleries, small workshops, and street art are visible everywhere. At the same time, the harbour remains a central location where fishermen bring in their catch daily. The old town is surrounded by walls and was partially shaped by European influences. Wide alleyways, light-coloured houses, and the constant wind give the city an open, almost relaxed structure. Tahazout is a small coastal village where surfers of every skill level find their wave. The swells of the Atlantic attract wave riders from various parts of the world. The place itself is compact and consists of simple houses, small cafes, and accommodation. The atmosphere is relaxed and strongly shaped by surf culture. Besides surfing, nature also plays a role. Cliffs, beaches, and open landscapes define the surroundings. A short walk from Tahazout is Agadir. After a severe earthquake in 1960, the city was largely rebuilt, which is why Agadir also feels more modern and structured than traditional places like Fez or Marrakesh. The long seafront promenade and wide streets shape the cityscape. Hotels, cafes, and restaurants line up along the coast. Agadir is especially known for its long, sandy beach, one of the largest in the country. Europeans are increasingly discovering this Moroccan paradise for themselves. Paradise is a fitting word. In the hinterland of Agadir, the Paradise Valley stretches out and forms a strong contrast to the coastal landscape. Between rocks and palm trees, small rivers wind through, creating natural pools. Further south lies Legzira Beach. It is known for its large rock arches, formed over thousands of years by wind and water. The red cliffs stand out strikingly against the blue of the Atlantic and create a distinctive photographic subject. Especially at sunset, the color of the rocks transforms and intensifies the effect of the surroundings. It perfectly illustrates how diverse the places along Morocco's Atlantic coast truly are. Finally, the Atlas Mountains and their natural wonders. A region shaped by Berber culture, remote villages and historic trade routes. At the same time, Some of the country's most dramatic natural formations emerge here, making the transition from mountains to desert visible. The High Atlas stretches like a natural spine through Morocco, separating the fertile plains in the north from the arid regions in the south. The landscape is defined by high peaks, deep valleys, and remote mountain villages. Many of these villages are still inhabited today by Berber families who have preserved their traditional way of life. Terraced fields, simple clay houses, and narrow paths shape a landscape that proves just how diverse and unspoiled Morocco can be. At the southern edge of the Atlas lies Aït-Ben-Haddou, one of Morocco's most famous clay settlements and part of the UNESCO World Heritage. The buildings consist almost entirely of rammed earth and blend in color with their surroundings. Towers, walls, and narrow paths give the place a striking structure. Just a few kilometers away lies Ouarzazate, often called the gateway to the desert. The city is known for its film studios, where numerous international productions have been filmed. Together, both places illustrate the transition from mountains to desert, architecturally and in terms of landscape. The Todra Gorge is one of Morocco's most impressive natural formations. Tall rock faces rise steeply on both sides, forming a narrow passage. In some places, the gorge is only a few meters wide, while the walls tower several hundred meters high. At the bottom runs a small river that has shaped the landscape over a long time. Water and rock enter a perfect symbiosis here. Finally, the Ouzoud waterfalls offer another highlight. Located in the Middle Atlas, they are among the highest waterfalls in Morocco. Several cascades plunge over rocks into the depths and form natural basins at the base. Trees, plants, and small paths lead along the waterfalls and create an almost park-like landscape. The waterfalls not only attract visitors, but are also a habitat for animals such as monkeys, who live in the trees surrounding the gorge. A perfect conclusion to our journey through this wonderfully beautiful country. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any more videos. See you next time.